Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. Yeah. So I'm supposed to say first off that the Chilliwack Creative Commission is gratefully located on the traditional territory of the Stolo people. So live from Cowork Chilliwack, Studio C, welcome to Creative Third Thursdays. It's always great to be hosting Creative Third Thursdays at Cowork Chilliwack, and it's traditional that we give a big round of applause and thank you to our hosts, Tim McAlpine and Michael Berger at Cowork Chilliwack. So on screen are members of the Chilliwack Creative Commission. I am Geoff Edwards. I'm the current chair of our Creative Third Thursdays committee. And we are super happy to see you guys in the audience here today for Creative Third Thursday. The Chilliwack Creative Commission is a committee of the Chilliwack Economic Partners Corporation. Our mandate is from the city to attract and facilitate economic growth in the emerging creative sector, including film, interactive, and digital media. And we can connect you with resources for your creative business needs. And for information about that, ta-da! There are some other lines and words that go behind that, but you'll eventually find it. If you go to that website, you'll find the Creative Commission. So wave if this is your first time at a Creative Third Thursday. Wow, thank you for coming. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So Creative Third Thursdays is your monthly opportunity to meet and greet other creative people, or even just to be with the cool kids. And you know what's really good about Creative Third Thursdays? Locally crafted, carbonated beverages. Okay. It's a tradition around here. So something a little different this time. It's a celebration of one of our own. And the Creative Commission Chair, Ian Fenwick, is who I'm talking about. Yeah. After more than 10 years at the head of our table, Ian will step aside in the new year, and though he will remain a member of our Creative Commission, Ian Fenwick has been creative for much of his life. Ian was a founding member of the Touchstone Theatre in Vancouver. For 45 years, Touchstone Theatre has been a mainstay of theatrical innovation and excellence on the West Coast. From there, Ian was a founding member of the UFV Theatre, the Theatre Department at the new, then, University of the Fraser Valley. And he served in that capacity for 27 years, guiding the development, the department curriculum, staffing, programming, scholarships, and the facilities. And Ian taught at all levels of that program, focusing on studio courses in acting, directing, playmaking, and the upper-level lecture-based history of musical theatre. So Ian also founded and curated the annual Directors Theatre Festival that highlights the work of British Columbia post-secondary theatre students. And Ian's received a bunch of awards and accolades over the years as a member of UFV's Americas. He is a member of UFV's Emeritus faculty. Ian has hosted our annual Pechakucha, and he has juried films for the Chilliwack Independent Film Festival. And as for his time with the Creative Commission, Ian has chaired our meetings with grace and has been at our table through our transition from a film-centric committee to a broader mandate. And like we say, a connection point and resource for film, interactive, and digital media. So as Ian steps down as chair, we thought it was a good idea to invite him down to a Creative Third Thursdays chat. And let's roll the clip.
Hi, Ian. It's Jason here. I just wanted to personally thank you for all of your passion and commitment to the Creative Commission. We first met over 20 years ago, if you can believe it or not, as a student in a number of your theater classes at the university, then the University College of the Fraser Valley. It was clear to me then how passionate you were about the arts, not just the performing arts, but just all of the arts and creative folks that live in Chilliwack. And we've all benefited from your passion and creativity and your volunteerism with the Creative Commission. It was under your watchful eye that we rebranded from the Film Commission to expand to the Creative Commission, really expand the scope. And I've been around for the last 10 years on council, appreciating all of the hard work that you do, both at the Creative Commission and in the broader community, just promoting the arts and culture here in Chilliwack. We are all the beneficiaries of your passion and commitment. So really appreciate it. Again, on behalf of City Council and the Mayor, we wish you well, although we certainly don't intend to let you go too far. So thank you again for your role that you've played on the Creative Commission, and wish you nothing but the best.
Hi, I'm Nettie Tam. I'm the Manager of Business Development for the Chilliwack Economic Partners Corporation. I met Ian, it's been a long time, I guess. It's been over 20 years. He was working at UFV. Ian is an amazing resource to the community, both when he was with UFV in a leadership role, with him as director of the theater program, and then him coming on to the Chilliwack Creative Commission. He's a valuable asset to our community, and we're so lucky to have him. So he brings a really balanced perspective, understanding the community, businesses, but the creative sector. On behalf of the Chilliwack Economic Partners Corporation and the Chilliwack Creative Commission, thank you so much for all your time and dedication to Chilliwack over the years.
To celebrate Ian Fenwick's time as the chair of the Chilliwack Creative Commission, I decided to write a song. But it quickly became apparent that I have never written a song, never played the guitar, and never tried to rhyme anything with Ian. You try to rhyme something with Ian. Go ahead, blurt it out. I'll wait. That's not even a word. I've had the pleasure of working with our fearless leader over the past 8 years on our annual Pechakucha event. He is a diehard film nerd, a live theater fanatic, and a champion of the performing arts. Ian is absolutely great to work with and a fantastic MC. But if I'm being totally honest, I wouldn't call him fearless. Is anyone really fearless? But I digress. On behalf of the Chilliwack Creative Commission and SEPCO, we would like to thank Ian for his leadership and unwavering passion for the Chilliwack creative community. Thank you, Ian. Korean. Korean rhymes with Ian.
Ian Fenwick.
Thank you, Geoff.
Thanks for coming, man.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
So thanks so much for agreeing to do this. I know it's not always the easiest to be the person in the interviewee seat, and we really appreciate it here at the Creative Third Thursday for you.
Well, it's pretty easy when you have endorsements like that. I want to thank Jason and Nettie and Tim for those wonderful clips. Thank you very much.
But it's really cool to be able to sort of learn about the pathway different people have had in their creative journeys, and that's kind of what we try to do here with our Creative Third Thursday chats like this. Mm-hmm. So would you talk a little bit about your early acting career?
Acting career. Well, I think that's what I started out and really drew me into performing arts. As a little boy, I think I was hauled up onto the stage, and we lived in England when I was a kid. Ivor Novello was doing a Christmas pantomime or something, and you get that hit of applause, and I think you're hooked for the rest of your life. So many people in the audience know that. And did some things in high school and musicals and university. I went to Brock University in Ontario, and the theatre department was just starting then. And so instead of studying medieval history, I studied drama and included, the study of the history of the theater and all of that, as well as getting into as many plays as possible and doing things backstage too. My father had an electrical business, so I really enjoyed lighting and that side of it, and the business side of it, making money if you could from being in shows and trying to make a living out of it, as opposed to being a student and a starving student when you're in the theater. So basically getting into Shakespeare and Moliere, contemporary plays, getting with a great group of people who are friends still back in Ontario, and then coming out here and getting involved in things at UBC, but I decided I wanted to be a director by that time, so that's why I came out to Vancouver and the West Coast.
So the Touchstone Theatre, we mentioned that in the intro, still operating today in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And you were one of the founding members of that organization. Tell me about the Touchstone Theatre days.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I refer to it as my war service. It was, it was very stressful, difficult time trying to run a theatre company on.
What made it difficult?
No money. A lot of people with different ideas as to where it should go and what it should be. And dealing with theater owners and, the whole business side of it, and carrying a lot of the responsibility for grant writing and all of that. So, everyone who goes into performing arts knows it's not an easy go. And everyone who's even like very famous and making a lot of money today probably went through a very tough time to climb the ladder. So when you begin, it's tough, and it's gotta be the thing you want to do, or you'll find something else to do, and that's often the advice you'll get at a theater program is if there's anything else you can do, you'll do it. If you're just passionate about theater, performing, or being in this sphere of creativity, then you'll pursue that, even though it might be difficult. So anyway, but Touchstone Theatre was great. We were able to create new material and create new work that was relevant to things that were happening in Vancouver at the time, and it was a theater that we tried to say something. It wasn't just about us appearing in front of people and doing plays that would be successful. We wanted to be successful, but we wanted plays that had things to say. We did one show was about the uranium industry, and it was very controversial. They were going to open up uranium mines throughout British Columbia, which potentially were damaging to the environment. Piles.
This in the 70s? Was
This is the 70s, yeah, the later 70s. And we toured that show throughout the province, and I believe we were on the RCMP surveillance list. And it was, David Suzuki supported our show at that time, and other people in the environmental movement. At the end of our run, and it probably didn't have a lot to do with us, but there was a moratorium put on uranium mining in British Columbia that's never been lifted, and I think to the betterment of the environment because of the tailings ponds and all of that. Mining's a necessary industry, but uranium mining's a different kind of thing. So we did plays like that. And
any other meaningful plays that carried a subtext that you were really passionate about like that?
Well, again, a very difficult play and very controversial was a show we developed called Broken Dolls, and it was about it was about rape. There had been a famous rape case in Vancouver, the Papa John case, and we tried to develop a play that tried to look at that issue and the issue of sexual violence, which is very much in the headlines now, and it was an issue that we took on. But as you can imagine, there were lots of radical viewpoints and ways of looking at that. Again, it's very difficult to bring all those issues into something that somebody doesn't want to protest or is upset about, and you want to be balanced and you want to be truthful to. So that was and one spin-off of that, we did get to go to PBS in Seattle and filmed it, but it never hit the waves. But that was a fun experience too. And some of those things they spin off into other directions. So those were some of the shows we did. We did a lot of Sam Shepard plays, and one of them we had the cast of a film that was being made in Vancouver, and they all came to see it. And before the show, we had a Buddy Holly lookalike contest and a sock hop, and it was great fun. And then there was the show, and it was kind of a science fiction sort of thing. Anyway, the cast of the movie that was shooting at that time came, And they loved it. And I ended up in the film they were shooting, A Man, a Woman, and a Bank with Donald Sutherland and Brooke Adams. And then, again, one of these coincidences, a few months later, there was a new production company in Los Angeles called Touchstone Pictures, which, I don't know if they sort of thought that's kind of a nice name, But anyway, that was our...
So speeding a little bit ahead to, I guess maybe the 80s by this point, you had an agent. You were auditioning for acting parts in film and television.
Yeah.
And you came to a fork in the road, right?
Yeah.
You had an opportunity to be in a pilot.
Well, I was in a pilot it was going to be kind of like a new Beachcombers type of thing. That was the hope of the writers and the creators of the series. And I got lucky to be cast as the father in it, and it was shot in West Vancouver in a really neat little cove down there, and it was called Pirates and Elephant Ears or something like that. And if it had been taken, I would have had a main part in a TV series. And it was the same time I was offered a contract at Fraser Valley College in those days. But the pilot didn't take off, so I was glad I was at Fraser Valley College. It wasn't a second choice. I don't know. I had a choice, I guess, if that had come through. But maybe I could have done both. I don't know.
Yeah. Would you have looked at an opportunity to, like a way to accomplish both?
Well, maybe. I know, when you're transitioning from one job to another, there's often some slack that they give you to kind of, if they want you. So maybe. But soon after I came, I realized, I had to put that aside and focus on the college program if we wanted it to grow and be something that would be useful to the community and to students and to the institution.
So you're at UFV, and you were one of the masterminds behind that amazing theater on Yale Road in the original campus, the original Chilliwack campus. For those that don't know, can you talk a little bit about that theater and how it came together?
Yeah, and one of my colleagues, Astrid's in the audience tonight, and various other supporters. I should go back and say, coming to Chilliwack, the Chilliwack Players Guild was here, the community that had a lot of creativity and was very attractive to come to because of the support and the activity that was already happening and the talent that was in Chilliwack. So we started in 1980, and we did a show in the cafeteria, and we took a little show on the road all around the valley because we wanted to be not just Chilliwack program, but one that's the Fraser Valley program. Anyway, we had to focus into our studio, which we made out of 2 classrooms that we knocked the wall down, and Jerry Enns was in the early days of his construction career, and I think he had 1 or 2 employees at that time, and they helped, they were contracted to kind of put that together. And we had a 132-seat studio there, and the idea was when I was hired, I asked what the terms were, and they said, well, we're building a theater, and you'll be able to be on the ground floor of that. And we'll soon be hiring more faculty because I knew I couldn't do this myself. Anyway, there was, after a year or 2, there was no theater going to be built. And so we had to build it from the support, 15 years of good shows and great support from the community to the point where things came together and the senior administration told a few fibs in Victoria and said it was going to be a lecture facility and there'd be arms that the students could take notes and all of that. And I really, the senior management did a wonderful kind of boondoggle on that. And because at that time, the government was supportive, but not of performing arts facilities at colleges. So we had to, they did a good job of, and other people are behind the scenes that did that. But it took that series of shows and sold out shows and held over shows and a growing audience and all of that support to kind of put the pressure on, and people saw that that's what needed to happen, and that we're going to build you a new facility. And we were very lucky to be in on. I was even got to be on the committee that selected the architect, and we were able to design it in a way that we wanted to. So it was purpose-built. It was the great facility for the program and the kind of things we wanted to do. And it was very much a group effort from the great staff that we had in the program. Yeah.
I remember walking into the first time I was there. I think there was, it also was a place where other artists could come and rent the facility. I think there was a musical act I saw in there.
Yeah, we had
first time I went in.
We had Susan Glukark there, for instance. We used to do a little partnership with Bazzini's. Mano would come in and do some shows. The Student Society, I think, brought in Ashley McIsaac for a show. It was open. When we weren't using it, we wanted it to be available to, that size of space, 200 seats, for other artists.
What are some of your fondest memories of those days?
There's many. It's difficult. I remember the opening night was a wonderful, September 1995 when we opened the facility. Full house. We had actually chairs that we weren't supposed to put up in the balcony, and we jammed people in wherever we could. And there was some, guests came in. There was a lot of local talent. Christopher Gaze came from Bard on the Beach. John Wright from the UBC Theatre. There was a lot of, supporting people and local dignitaries and we had a really good kind of variety night opening. And I remember coming out at the first half, it was kind of, I think maybe Harry Merton and Brian Minter were there. Somebody kind of emceed the first part, and then I came on to MC the talent part of the second, and I walked out and there was a standing ovation. I didn't say anything, but everybody just wanted to celebrate that this had happened, Yeah. And then I introduced the first performer, and I went back down, and we had under the stage was a trapdoor system and tunnels under there, and so I went down there to wait for that act to be over to announce the next one, and I just thought, it's all downhill from here.
A high point.
Yeah, it's a real high point.
So you've been the chair of the Chilliwack Creative Commission for more than 10 years now, right? So
it was 2009. Cheryl was kind enough to look it up for me today. Yeah.
So as you step aside as chair, can you reflect back on that period?
Well,
highlights for you.
One of the highlights is I was appointed to the commission by Clint Hames, who's here, and my very good friend. And,
so was I.
Yes.
I know talent when I see it.
He sure does, and he's done so much for our community in terms of the cultural center and a lifelong commitment to the Players Guild and out of high school. He's one of the people behind the scenes that's buoyed up our whole
Enough
community.
about him.
Yeah,
Talk about you.
Yeah. I digress. What was the question? I guess.
Well, I was saying, could you reflect back on your period as the chair of the Creative Commission? What are some of the highlights for you?
Again, I don't want to be seeming kind of smarmy, but it's working with a great group of people, great group, some of whom, like Jason, were former students, and we've got, a great group of people that all came together to further the creative and artistic part of Chilliwack, specifically from the beginning to try to bring economic activity to Chilliwack through the film. I think it was great that we were able to transition and open up to more things than film, and all the different things that have evolved. I guess it's been an evolution that's felt comfortable, that we could handle. The support from SEPCO itself, from John Jansen and Brian Coombs, and the development of the Creative Third Thursdays, the Pechakuchas, Tim's studio. Isn't this amazing to have in Chilliwack? Whenever anyone comes from out of the community, they're just blown away that we have this, and it's a privately owned studio. It's like something you see in the big cities, the expansion of artistic activity in Chilliwack, and the great things that are happening downtown. Great that SEPCO's office is right there in the middle of things, and we have our meetings there. I think it's just that evolution of what we're doing and growing with Chilliwack, and the film festival that Taras is curating is just quite amazing, and it has the potential to be a world event that brings people to Chilliwack like South by Southwest does in the States. A lot of industry people were involved either virtually or in person this year, and
it's just on a really interesting trajectory.
It is.
Yeah, getting more and more interesting.
Yeah, and I think again, this was one of Jason's ideas, developing a scholarship or a mentorship program for filmmakers in Chilliwack. And I think that's something I would really want to stress in any kind of wisdom I could impart, given the opportunity that you've provided me with, is to help as many people in this community and young people to achieve their goals, and that we try to provide like this mentorship and scholarship for a filmmaker here to develop, and they don't have to leave the community. They're supported here. I'm hoping Taras's festival will grow to the point where he can be paid as the executive director, and some more people can earn a living from being performers or creative people. I see that coming in Chilliwack.
So you're just going to add my words of thank you for what you have done for our community and to advance the interests of the artistic and creative community locally. And so Ian Fenwick, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hey.
Oh, look at that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Pleasure.
That's our very first Creative Third Thursday standing ovation.
There we go.
Put that on the calendar. So you guys in the audience, remember, if you or someone you know is a creative entrepreneur locally, reach out to any of us on the Chilliwack Creative Commission. We may be featuring you or somebody you know on our next Creative Third Thursdays. So we'll see you in 2023. Yes. And all the best to you and yours for Christmas this year, and there's cold bevies in the lobby.
Thank you, Geoff.
Cheers.